We are crazy excited for this episode because this is something that we actually talk about
daily.
I was going to say weekly, but daily is accurate. So if you're out there and you're having just a moment, this is the episode for you. So without further ado, the topic today is all about how your beliefs really impact every aspect of your life.
Yeah.
Regardless if it's a personal belief, regardless if it's a business belief, regardless if it's positive or negative, it affects everything.
Your beliefs shape your reality.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Yeah. If you get literally nothing, if you want to stop listening to this episode, please just take that.
100%. We're going to go through like a lot of aspects of this, and I am definitely really woo, so I will dive into like even some of the woo science behind it, but we want to start including in some of our episodes the just experience of duality and how duality lives in every experience in life. Good, bad, ugly, sad, all of the above. And the purpose of this is to help you create awareness. And honestly, this is a piece of the power of beliefs. There's duality in every single experience. You might be achieving like the biggest high of your career, but there might be something in that experience that was really freaking hard. So it was maybe more of a pit and a low, even though it's connected to that really big high.
Right.
And vice versa. Something might be really shitty. And don't hear what I'm not saying. Sometimes shitty stuff just happens, period. There are some things that happen in life and I'm like, I don't know the reason for that.
Yep.
However, in entrepreneurship especially, there's always a lesson to be learned, even when something doesn't go your way. In honor of this duality in all experiences, we're going to share our own positives and negatives around mindset by kicking off with two questions that we'll ask each other. So what's a mindset shift that changed something for you recently? Positive.
Positive. Something that you guys don't know, Brooke and I are big meditators. You might know that, but the fact that we have a challenge right now to meditate every single day. And a lot of times I meditate on abundance, on courage, on confidence. Like those are things that I will do. And I usually meditate the second I wake up in the morning or the second before I go to bed.
Yeah.
I'm not like a midday stop what I'm doing meditator unless I need like a calm moment. However, a lot of times recently I've been doing abundance meditations. And the best part about it is I went into it being like, call in more money, right? But what I have actually been calling in that I think is so magical is the abundance in people, the abundance in kindness, the abundance in basically every other like joyful aspect of life besides money.
Noticing abundance in other ways.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that was just a lesson that I needed to learn, to know that it's okay to get abundance in everything else.
I love that.
Because I think that's just a part of life is, again, a duality, right? So you can have an abundance in one thing and an abundance in another, but that's one thing that's been positively changing even just my outlook on things.
Yeah.
Is, oh, okay, we've had 4 days in a row in Seattle where it's sunny.
Love.
So it's like counting those little blessings. Yeah, totally.
No, and I think that's really cool because honestly, even just the awareness of recognizing abundance in other aspects of life and actually truly sitting in gratitude and joy for that will call in more abundance in all of the other places that you want it, because you're energetically becoming a match for said abundance because you're raising your vibration. It's just, it's all cyclical and going to work better anyway. So I love that. I think that's incredible.
Yeah. What about you?
For me, it's a mindset shift, but it's also redefining something. So for me, it's redefining what I believe success to be and changing my mindset on what success is and how I define it for myself personally. And this is something that I've actually started to do. My husband and I have really gotten into bouldering at like a local climbing gym. And I really thought this was going to be something that the gym also has Pilates classes, yoga, all that kind of stuff. And I love Pilates, yoga, all that kind of stuff. Boxing, but the gym has bouldering plus classes plus gym, like the whole nine, and it's really nice. And my husband, I knew he was getting into it. He was like, I want to climb, and I'm like, that makes perfect sense for you. That is going to be your new personality trait. I assumed I would climb with him a little bit and mostly go take Pilates classes while he was climbing, and I very quickly became just as obsessed as he is. Or he's watching climbing YouTube videos when he's home. I'm not doing that. No judgment. But I am obsessed with it too. I am obsessed. I watch them with him sometimes. I am obsessed with it too. And the reason I bring this up is because I learned this lesson through climbing. And I have not been climbing that long at all, a month. But the mindset shift that happened for me is, in the past, success to me has meant completing something and doing it well. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it was always this achieving result was the success. So whether it was tied to money or external validation, success meant some sort of achievement that was outside of myself. And it was very often associated with money. Like I'd feel like a failure if I didn't make a revenue goal, or if I didn't get a positive reaction from a design that I did, or whatever. Those would be failures for me.
It was all external.
And it was all external. Yeah. And the shift that I have gotten now is success is just doing it a little bit better than you did before and breaking it down to one step at a time. So the reason climbing comes into this is there's different routes that you climb, and making it one more hold is a success to me now. So there's a route that I have been trying to climb for 2 or 3 sessions now, and Kelly saw me climbing it this morning actually, because we went climbing together, and I was like, I'm so mad I didn't get it. But I got one more hold, so like meaning one more like rock, if you will, on the wall, at one higher than I did in the session previous. So that was successful to me.
And we were all freaking out. We were like, she did it. Holy crap.
Did I make it to the top? Did I technically complete the climb? No. But I do feel successful making it one more hold than I did last time. And you know what? I'm one hold away from the top. So like next gym session, I am topping that thing. So
I love that.
That has been a huge mindset shift, and it's bleeding into other areas of life and business. And it's natural to feel as a business owner that you can fall short in things when things don't go perfect. And somehow your to-do list as a business owner only gets longer and never shorter. And I don't understand. For every one I scratch off, 10 more appear. It's like magic.
Literally.
So redefining success from the external validation, the money, everything having to be done and perfect, to getting one step closer has been huge.
I love that. And it is, for other people seeing on the outside, like other people seeing you at the gym, it doesn't look like a big deal, but it really is. I could cry on it. I think it is a really big deal, because that's something that you did, that you're working on. Just one more thing, one more moment, just one more email, just one more client call, just one more something little that you can really take and be proud of.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, I'm going to clean my inbox today. It's at 400. I'm going to get it down to 0, and be proud that you got it down to 300.
It's taking the big things that you're working towards that maybe you're not achieving right now in this moment, and breaking it down into smaller things and going, success to me is actually not, will I feel successful when I complete it? Yes. But success to me is not completing it per se. It's completing with the mission for that day.
It's very much like being proud of the journey.
Yes.
Even if you haven't gotten there. And I think that's really freaking important.
Everyone always says it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. It's really easy to forget that. And I am super guilty of forgetting that.
Same.
It's really helping like with presence and just being where your feet are, and like understanding that success can be just taking one more step towards something, and really feeling that too. Letting yourself celebrate it just as if you had signed the biggest client of your life or booked the dream trip. Celebrate it all the same, because it is still progress. And we often ignore our progress because we just wait for it to be completed or to get to the goal. And that is such a disservice to ourselves.
In every aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's special.
Yeah. So second question, which is going to be more of the pit, because again, duality in all experiences. So that was positive. What's a limiting belief you've personally struggled with?
There are so many. I'm going to have to probably say one of the biggest ones that I've struggled with for literally ever since out of the womb, practically. And for those of you listening and you've never seen my voice or you really don't know me, you're probably listening and thinking, wow, she has to be 7 years old.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It is my like teeny tiny little girl voice.
Okay.
That has always been hindrance of
like
things
in insecurity.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think because I let it really be for a long time, I stayed small myself. Even from a young girl, I would be speaking in front of my church. I danced competitively. I was always in front of people. I'm obviously very extroverted. And every time I would be in a situation where I was able to grow, or I could speak on something else, or I was able to do this, I would basically say no, because I didn't want to look silly. And so my limiting belief was that because my voice is small, I won't be able to make a big impact.
That gave me chills.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, so ever since little, that's been a huge thing. And the human that literally changed my whole life, bless her, her name is Neen James. She is also a fellow speaker, and she's incredible and a leadership coach. And when I was in corporate, we hired her to be a keynote speaker at an event. And she is like 4'5" and from Australia, and is the cutest woman. And she walks out on stage and she goes, "Good day."
Oh my God, I love that.
And that was the first thing she said. And she literally changed my life, because I was like, she is also little, also has a little voice, and she's rocking it. And what she did was call it out. Like similar, like comedians will like call about all of their flaws,
like
just to get it out there.
Almost, but like not negatively.
Yeah, she does it in the most beautiful way, and it, like, I'm not kidding. Within that instant, I was like, if she can do it, God, I can do it.
Hell yeah.
And so that was literally it. Like, I literally quit my job like 6 months later and started my business, and she was one of the first people that I called. And
I didn't know that. We talked about these stories of quitting corporate so many times.
Yeah. And so that was a huge movement in my life. And Brooke and I met on Clubhouse. And that was a whole other moment. I was like, I can do this. I know it's voice only. Yeah. People aren't watching my face. Like, they're not meeting me in person.
Yeah.
They have to hear my voice and go, oh my God. And then I just got over it and was like, you know what? God gifted me this small voice, and that's just the way that it is.
And what's funny is I actually don't find your voice small. I hear what you're saying in the sense of a higher pitch, I guess. But like, to me, your voice can command a room and it carries.
Yeah.
To me, a small voice is like people who like whisper and like you can barely hear them and you're like, can you speak up? So I don't know. I love your voice.
I do too now, but I really didn't. Like, I will go home literally still to this day, go home to my hometown, and a telemarketer will call, and my mom and dad will have me answer the phone and say, hi, my mommy and daddy aren't home right now. Call back later.
Hey, that's
I am not kidding.
Gift in some way.
Okay, but that's how it is, and I'm
correct. I hear you.
33.
Yeah.
So like for me, I'm like, okay, we can use it, but also like it's strong enough to carry its own tune. That even led into, because I feel small in that way, I didn't want to be confident in what I was saying. So the confidence piece then is a whole other sector of that. Yeah. And I think even in the marketing realm, I've been marketing for almost 15 years now.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm good at it. But it also took me a really long time to be like, okay, but I can be the one that raises my hand in a boardroom and say, no, this isn't right, or this is how we should be doing this differently, or however, that research is incorrect. And that took a long time too. And I think all of that is literally in the Kelly has a baby voice that literally I have gotten happy with.
Yeah.
I had to find joy in my own voice, and like finding my own voice, literally.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So we love that you're on the other side of it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's always work to be done. And that's the thing with limiting beliefs, like for anyone listening. There might be a limiting belief that you have moved beyond that 8 years down the road might sneak up again because you've up-leveled. Like you've never had to confront it to this degree. And okay, as you level up, you sometimes have to confront them again. And that does not mean you failed at eliminating it the first time. This is just a new version of it that you're meeting. And there's beauty in that too, because that means you leveled up. So again, duality. For me, the limiting belief that I have struggled with and am still working on in varying ways is that I have to work so hard. Like the only way my work is good enough and that I deserve to get paid or that I have worked hard enough is if I am like burnt to a crisp. Like dead, exhausted, burnt to a crisp. And this is the piece that I have gotten better at in my first 2 years, I would say, of entrepreneurship, maybe even 3, but really the first 2. I pulled more all-nighters than I ever pulled in college, and I did pull them in college, believe me. And it was because I just had this belief and fear of, oh my God, I quit my job, like I'm going all in on me. All these people are trusting their money with me, and I still to this day take that personally and seriously, and I have so much gratitude for every human who works with us. But for me, like it turned into this really unhealthy experience, and it started way before entrepreneurship, but entrepreneurship shined a light on it. Where if I'm not working so fucking hard, then I don't deserve it. I have to exhaust myself. I have to pull all-nighters. If you email me at 11 p.m. on a Saturday or text me at 11 p.m. on a Saturday, like a client, I have to text you back, and I have moved beyond that. We're not. If you text me at 11 p.m. on a Saturday, I will not be responding. Love you. Thank you.
Yeah. 20 minutes for me at 11 p.m.
No, I won't. Love you too.
I love you too.
I'm sleeping. But there was a version of me that was not like that. There was a version of me that would go into spirals and panic attacks if someone had to wait for even a second before I could respond to their notification because they probably had a question or whatever it might be, and it resulted in I have to work so fucking hard. Also, it turned into I can't post me doing anything fun on social media because I don't want anyone to see me not working. You're paying me money to build blank. I should be working all the time.
Correct. Oh, that's a big one.
Like Monday through Sunday.
Yep.
7 a.m. to 7 a.m. the next day. And that's a huge limiting belief. And
she is way past this.
Yeah.
And it's super freaking hard. Yeah.
Do I still overwork more than I should?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Am I pulling all-nighters sometimes, but not constantly? And I am finally comfortable with posting myself on social media, doing fun things, because like I've had this moment of no one is expecting 24/7 out of you, and if they are not your people, you can make money even as you rest. You can be successful and be good at what you do and still have respect as a business owner even when you're resting. And yeah, that's just something that I've really worked on. And since then, I have had those moments of Kelly will call me on like a day off and she's, oh my God, you will never guess who just booked a discovery call with us or who just did blank. And it's always in those moments where I surrendered and let go and just let myself rest and go, no, it's fine. That the most abundance comes. And I truly believe it's from doing the work on letting go of the limiting belief of you have to work so fucking hard. Again, I definitely still love working hard, but you should not work so hard that you end up physically ill from it.
Yes.
And I get migraines chronically and I still get them monthly, but I can tell when I'm in my burnout, stress, overworking, all-nighter cycle. And so can Kelly, because I will get more than my like normal. I normally get like one or so a month around my time of the month. If I'm getting multiple, Kelly's take a day off.
Yep. And that is like an instant, oh my God, she had a headache last week. This is not good.
Like it's a sign.
I will already know that she's overworking and doing that. But when it is really hindering on mental health, especially, physical health, especially, that's when we stop.
Yeah.
And that's also like the beauty of being a partner and the belief of I don't have to do it all by myself.
Yeah, 100%.
I think that's also a limiting belief that you and I are still working on.
Yes.
And I think that is just the beauty of being in partnership with someone because you and I had businesses for so long separately that it's now one of those things where it's okay to ask you for help.
Correct.
Like it is okay for me to take a day off and for you to take over something of mine and vice versa, or like you run my team and I run your team on your own. That is okay.
It's okay for both of us to take the same day off. That's been an interesting one for us to overcome because like, where did that come from?
Literally, we're like, no, we can't.
And I'm like, well, why not? There's a day, oh my God, there was a time where Kelly and I like both wanted to take off a Sunday and we like really struggled with that. And I was like, what? Once I sat back and said the sentence out loud to myself, I went, this is ridiculous. It's Sunday, one. Even if it was Monday, like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But this is something we should work on. So
lovingly, this is a problem. So let's fix this.
And yes, we should take the day off.
Correct.
No, I love it. I think limiting beliefs can really change your life. And that's not always great. There's always something to learn from them. And there's always a root cause to them. And I think that is a really interesting conversation to have. And you even opened that conversation a bit with yours, with finding with your voice and like little Kelly. For anyone who has never done any of the like belief work and understanding the power of your belief, often something you're struggling with started in your childhood. And it's not always childhood. Maybe it could have happened later, but typically it is in childhood. The first
formative
years, like your first 7 years of your life is when your subconscious mind is really malleable and moldable and you're like absorbing everything like a sponge. And it is crazy how a sentence that you may have heard from a teacher as a child or a parent or a colleague as a child, LOL, a colleague, your elementary classmate. It's crazy though, how your subconscious, even your conscious mind might be like, that's crazy talk. I know that's not true, but your subconscious believes that to be true and it can manifest in so many different ways and literally change your reality.
Yeah. Even like in mine, if I didn't take a second and really be like, no, Kelly, this is a gift. This is a gift, and clearly God put on your heart to speak and love on people and do all of this stuff that's loud and proud and in the public facing eye.
Yeah.
If he didn't do that, this would be different. But I was like, he did. And he did with the voice that I have. And so we're going for it. And you know what? If you don't want to work with me because I have a higher pitched voice, that's on you then.
Correct. You should look into that for yourself. What is...
Yeah. And that's totally, like for me, I think what I actually love about limiting beliefs, and that's because me and you and us are just like constant learners. And literally entrepreneurship is you are going to learn something about yourself, about your partner every freaking day.
It's therapy on crack.
Oh my gosh, yes. And for me, even though it's a limiting belief and I am moved past it, there are still days that I think about it and I have to actively move through it and tell myself that I'm okay and tell myself that it's okay. And same thing with overworking. We'll get a brand new client and it's easier to go into the overwork stage because that's where we've lived for so long. And so for me, it's almost harder to be like, no, we don't need to do that.
Correct.
We don't need to burn out on every project just because that's how we function.
Also, it doesn't benefit literally anyone. You will be a better human, a better worker, a better business owner, better partner, better friend, better sister, better brother, parent, period, all of it. if you let yourself rest and you don't overwork. I could go on a soapbox about it now.
Yeah. You have these beliefs and they're going to keep coming.
Yes.
New ones will come, but it's all about, honestly, self-awareness and knowing, no, I'm a boss-ass bitch and I don't need it.
Yeah.
Like, it's really okay. It's okay.
Yeah. You have all of them. And once you can notice the patterns that you have in your own life, you can really identify, okay, why every single time I am in a really good relationship at month 4, I self-destruct and do something that ends up ending, I pick a fight, I end the relationship, and then I look back on month 5 after that breakup and always go, I had something really good going there. Like, what is going on? And then you repeat it and you do it again with a different partner. There's always a pattern for you to look back on, and hindsight is 20/20, as we all know. So I really implore you, pick up the journal, do a video diary with yourself, whatever, however you process best, whether it's verbally, written, talking to someone,
calling a friend, calling a therapist.
Right. And recognize what your patterns are. And there are always, I can say that confidently, there will always be a limiting belief that is the cause of that pattern. Because that limiting belief can cause certain actions in you. It can cause certain just like emotions, experience, behaviors, and it can change your life. And I know we're talking heavy right now, but it can also change your life for the better.
Totally. Yeah, because there are things, really amazing positive beliefs you have about yourself. Like, imagine you wake up every morning and you just tell yourself, like, I'm going to have a good day.
It's going to be an amazing day.
Then it is. Because you find ways to make it amazing. You look for the signs that make it a happy, joyful, pleasant day. And then you go to bed and you thank God for that amazing day. And you wake up and be like, today's going to be another amazing day. If you wake up and go, today's going to be shit.
It's probably going to be shit.
It's going to be shit.
And I don't know if people know this, but the first thought you have in the morning, when your eyes are still closed and you're just coming to, that first thought sets the tone for your entire day. Now, can you actively fight against it and change it if you woke up and naturally thought, oh, today's going to be shitty? Sure, there are things you can do to move your energy, shift your energy. The first thought of your day is going to set the tone for the rest of your day. So when you are waking up in the morning, eyes still closed, like sleep is still in your eyes, how can you get better at intentionally choosing what that first thought is, instead of falling into the autopilot trap that we all live in so often, of, I'm so tired, I don't feel like getting out of bed. What if it's instead, I'm so excited for today, it's a new day, so much fun can happen.
Thank God I woke up this morning.
Yeah.
That is always my first thought when I wake up. Just say thanks. I made it. We're here. Let's go.
Let's do it.
But that's why I meditate in the morning. Usually, because even if I don't sleep well, even if I don't sleep long enough, whatever it is, for me to literally just roll over, hit play on a meditation, and then lay back down while I'm like still not even awake, and have it be the most positive, amazing thing. Yeah, that is one way at least I could give to anyone listening or watching for how to really change your mindset immediately when you wake up. Yeah. Because there are some days where you're like, okay, that thing is on my to-do list today. But if you build positive things around said moment, the rest of it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. It will. You have made it. If you are listening to this episode, thank you. Yes, thank you. You're amazing. We love you so much. But also, you have made it through 100 percent of life thus far. Amen. Why do you think that track record is going to change? You've made 100%. Like, you are still here. Has it been easy? Maybe not. Has it all been hunky-dory, your dream experience? Maybe not. We've all gone through highs. We've all gone through lows. Some of us harder highs, some of us harder lows. You're still here. You still made it. And that track record is only going to continue. So believe in that. And I think for people who maybe don't realize the power of their beliefs, or okay, like, how do I work on changing these beliefs? Meditation, like Kelly just said, is a huge one. But look at how you talk to yourself. And I mean, in your head with your thoughts, and then also things that you say to yourself. Like, if you do something clumsily and like trip and you go, ah, shit, I'm a klutz. Or you do something silly and just say, oh my God, I'm an idiot. And hey, I am guilty of pretty much all of these. Yeah. It's still an active thing I'm working on. The amount of times in your head that you're like, oh, I feel so ugly today. The amount of negative things we say in our heads to ourselves on a daily basis, it's truly affecting said reality as well, because your thoughts control your reality in many ways, just like your beliefs control your reality. It's all working together, because your beliefs will direct your thoughts, and your thoughts are why you're going to continue to negative self-talk about yourself. So if you can create some awareness about how you're speaking to yourself and change it, you will make a huge impact in your beliefs. And it could literally start with, today's going to be amazing. I'm amazing. You can take a page out of Mel Robbins' books and high five the mirror in the morning, because there's like an experience of giving someone a high five. It always means that you're killing it. You're doing a good job. It starts with your negative self-talk. It's got to go Yeah, and I think another way that you can really switch those beliefs, assess who's in your circle.
Ooh, oh my God. Louder for the people in the back.
Assess who's in your circle. Because if you have people in your circle that are literally draining you, like the ones, the phone rings and they're calling and you're like, oh, maybe they're a family member, maybe they're a friend that you've had forever, but like they suck the life out of you. Just take note. I was in a marriage for a long time that was sucking the life out of me. And I'm blessed I was able to get out and I am living a whole new life, which is really amazing. But my beliefs about myself, about what I can and cannot do, about my success and what that looked like was dictated by someone else. And that's so hard. That is so hard waking up every day being like, you can do it, and having someone else be like,
no, you can't.
Oh, you didn't make it today. So hard. So assess your circle, because those who you keep around you is really, they say you become the 5 people that are in your circle, right?
Yes, I believe that wholeheartedly.
I do too. And I think there is so much power in even just switching it a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe you add a 6th person that adds more joy to your life.
Yeah.
Let's say you cannot these 5 people out.
Not everyone might be able to be kicked out of said circle.
Which is fine. But even the awareness that they do, so that you're able, you know what, like every time I talk to Aunt Susie, she's draining and I talk to her a couple times a week, I'm going to go to a yoga class afterwards, because I know that like I need to piggyback that negative energy with something amazing that makes me feel good.
Your people is a huge one. I want to add one more thing even to the negative self-talk piece, because you mentioned the humans next to you, and it made me think too. When it comes to how you speak to yourself, I need you to think right now in this moment of someone that you love. It might be your mom, your dad, your daughter, your cousin, your friend. Anyone. All of the thoughts that you think about yourself on a daily basis. I'm not good enough. I don't look pretty enough. I'm stupid. I'm an idiot. It inserts your awful thought here. Would you look your best friend in the face, or whoever that human is for you, and say that? Chances is it's a big fat no.
God, no.
Why are you saying it to yourself? And so really try to use that as the filter of, is this a thought I really want to believe about myself? I would not say this to blank. And sure, maybe make the argument to me that, okay, but they're not. They're actually really good and smart at this. Okay, I don't care. Even if they were horrible at it, would you speak to them in the way you're speaking to yourself? You might give them constructive criticism and say, hey, babe, how can we work on helping you in this? Because you're incredible and I want to help you get better at this thing that you're trying. That you can still help someone through something and give feedback and constructive criticism to them without negatively talking to them.
Correct.
And you deserve that exact same experience with yourself.
Correct. And that starts with small habits too. Let's say you see yourself in the mirror and you're like, ugh. You could instantly stop and go, no, you know what? I really love my eyes. So even if it's like my hair looks like crap today, I haven't showered, I've just rolled out of bed, you can be like, you know what though? I was gifted really pretty blue eyes and I love that about myself today. Period. Yeah. It literally could be anything. And sometimes having that shift of, what would you say to your best friend if she walked by a mirror and went, ugh? You would probably say, babe, stop. You're so pretty.
You're stunning.
Like, what are you talking
literally
about? That is the love that you should give yourself. And very similar to Brooke saying, you have survived 100% of life so far. And also, thank you again for being here and spending your time with us. But it's the same way when it talks about the people in your circle, the people you're around with. Those people have been around for maybe 100% of the highs and 100% of the lows. And they're there and they're supporting and whatever. But how can you support just yourself better? You and you alone are going through every single challenge.
Yeah.
Regardless if you are going through a challenge with someone. How can you show up better?
Your beliefs truly change so much in your reality. And even going back to the subconscious mind, your subconscious, so to get a little sciencey and woo here, your subconscious mind is what is holding on to these beliefs, okay? And the way you can imagine your subconscious mind is, imagine an iceberg that is showing 5% of it above the water. You might go up to that iceberg and go, oh, that's a pretty small iceberg, no big deal. What you're not seeing is the amount of the iceberg that is underwater that you can't see. That 95% is your subconscious. So that 5% at the top that you can see above water is your conscious mind. That's allowing me to like
the action
do all of these things. It's like what I'm living my cognitive life in. But that 95% is actually what's influencing that 5%. 95 is a much bigger number than 5. Literally, even think of it that way. Your subconscious mind is in control of everything. And that is where those limiting beliefs lie. So it becomes a bigger project than just having one positive thought and going, I feel pretty today. That is helpful. That is something you should do. Affirmations are important. They can change your life in many ways. However, you got to really get into that 95%. Saying something nice about yourself one time is not going to change your thoughts. It's not going to change your reality. It's not going to change your beliefs.
Repetition and really feeling it.
Really believing it. And then doing the inner work. do the meditation, do the journaling, do the reflecting, go to therapy. We have huge therapy.
Oh, we love
here.
therapy. Yeah.
Do the inner child work. I love like hypnotherapy. I love EFT tapping for rewiring. And those are really my favorites. There's so many things though. There's so many different ways that you can do rewiring your brain type work when it comes to inner child healing. But that 95% of your mind is really what is driving those beliefs, and that is what is shaping your life. And that subconscious, man,
she's sassy.
She's sassy, and it's something that you should really get to know and love if you want to change your life.
And giving love to it.
Yeah.
I think it's probably just another piece of the awareness. Like, I love that the first thing you think about is that, but no, we're gonna kick this out.
100%.
And I love you for it, and thank you for keeping me in this safe space or whatever it is. I just think that's a good awareness practice too.
100%. So I think a big fun piece of this conversation, and we've already hinted at it too, is like entrepreneurship is therapy on crack. It's personal development on crack. Insert all of the above.
Totally.
How has starting a business for you forced you to grow personally? What was the pipeline of entrepreneur to personal development junkie?
Seriously though. Honestly, and it could have been, I don't think I have one pinpointed thing, but what I can really tell you is from being in a corporate atmosphere and before that in a schooling atmosphere to going in entrepreneurship and being like, wow, I can sleep in till 9:30 and then I can just do yoga and like answer a couple emails and then dinner and then get back to work.
Because that's your time.
Yeah.
Make your schedule.
Yeah. I think there was a whole moment for me where it's, oh, okay, but Kel, that's fine, but when are your most productive times? Like, when are your clients awake if they have to ask you? Right. There are things like jumping into a calendar, which obviously we all know enough. Getting out of the rigid 9 to 5 moment. Also really learning about, okay, Kelly, you need 8 hours of sleep, regardless if you go to bed at 3 or you're going to bed at 7. How does this affect your day? And you're able to change that. And so I think for me, it's really that self-awareness piece. What do I need today? And what do I need tomorrow? Personally, professionally, everything.
Because, and my answer to it is even a piggyback off of that, because I feel like that self-awareness, it's not impossible to gather in corporate by any means. I don't want to like shit on corporate for anyone who's living their corporate best life. I'm obsessed with that for you.
Yeah, we love it for you. That's incredible.
Truly. And you can do all this work in corporate, but it's not encouraged, I find. And some companies do. My corporate experience was not very personal development forward. And I think the thing with self-awareness that entrepreneurship brings you is the fact that you are in charge of your lifestyle. You get to do whatever you want.
And so it's not like, do we want to go to Disneyland tomorrow? No.
Great. How are you going to make that happen? But it's like having the self-awareness of, okay, I can do whatever I want, but like, how can we actively make this work with everything and like also stay on top of my stuff, not go too far on the opposite end of the spectrum and never work. So mine is very similar for me with wanting to quit my job, my quitting corporate story, which we could do a whole episode on quitting corporate. We should do a whole episode on quitting corporate. Let us know if you want an episode on quitting corporate. Comment below.
And also, if you love your corporate job, we'd actually love to hear about the culture.
Please, come on the show.
Yeah, please, we'd love to talk about it. Because obviously we're entrepreneurs, and we're entrepreneurs almost forced into it because we were in such shitty corporate culture.
Correct.
However, if you're like, I work for X company and they're incredible and they make me feel empowered every day. And I'd love to shout them out and be like, let's literally interview everyone. So I digress.
I was not able to quit my job and start my business until I did the personal development work where I believed in myself enough to do it. Because the short story, which is never that short because I'm incapable of telling a short story, is I knew, long story long, I knew that I wanted to work for myself starting in college. And if you go back to even before that, when I was little, I knew I wanted to do something big. As a child, I understood that as like, I want to be a singer or an actor. I can't sing or act, so that is definitely not my journey. But I didn't know entrepreneurship was a thing or like speaking on stages in a different way. But I have always known that I was meant for more than the typical careers that you go into, which are also incredible, but they weren't for me. And in college, I saw these 2 girls on Facebook actually who traveled the world and worked from their laptops. And I was like, oh my God, that's incredible. I want to do that. Maybe one day. I can't do that. How can anyone do that?
Yeah.
And
that's just for them.
Correct. Maybe one day I can do that too. So then I did the normal thing. I moved to New York City right after college, got into the work field. I worked a couple jobs here and there, like at European Wax Center, which was my college job. So I transferred with that. And then I started working at SoulCycle. I was a manager at a SoulCycle, and then I got into like true corporate and did operations. I did the whole thing because you learn, you go to high school, then you go to college, then you graduate, and then you get a corporate job. And like was what I was told, and that is what I did. And I did not have the belief in myself that you could just start your own business. Like, what? I didn't know anyone directly who had started their own business. So I didn't believe that I could start my own business. And my beliefs were, that's for people who are really good at it. That's for them. I would love that. I want to work for myself. I want it. But that's not for me. I'm not smart enough, rich enough, insert anything. And I was not able to change that belief until I found Manifestation Babe, actually, is what got me into this. And honestly, shout out Catherine Zinkina. I have no idea how I found her. No idea. But I started hearing stuff about manifestation, and obviously very closely related to personal development, because newsflash, manifestation is not sitting there and hoping something into existence. There's inner work that needs to happen for you to manifest your dream life. And so I started doing the personal development work in listening to podcasts, reading books. Manifestation Babe was like a constant listen. I would listen at work. I would have my hair down and AirPods in while I was working.
Who's gonna know?
Who's gonna know? How would they know? And at my corporate job, sorry corporate, I still got all my work done plus more. But I was listening to podcasts about personal development, and I had never heard the words personal development before entrepreneurship. Like, this just wasn't something that was spoken about or encouraged. So when it comes to the self-awareness piece that you were saying earlier, corporate never influenced that into me. Therefore, I had nothing. I didn't know that there was, what was a limiting belief? Inner child healing? Like, I didn't know what any of that was. Of course, my beliefs influenced my reality, but I also had no way to understand what they were other than they were just the beliefs I had. And I thought that was just the way life was.
Yeah.
But once I got into personal development and learned about everything, like, that's when shit really changed. That's huge. I was able to quit my job not that long after. It looked quicker than it was. There was years of side hustling and all. Then that's the thing. Like, in between, I would do branding and design for people here and there, like freelance, but I still had this moment of, oh my God, I can't do this full time. What do you mean? It wasn't until I got into personal development.
That's so lovely. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Because that is also like an everyday freaking journey. Yeah. You learn about yourself. You learn about your partner. You learn about how you interact with other people. You learn about what you can and cannot tolerate.
Yeah.
Those are things you learn pretty fast.
Correct.
Like, am I going to allow this? Am I not going to? If I allow it, what does that look like? If I don't, get it. But what does that look like? And I think there's always that constant learning moment about you, about your surroundings. It's like a really amazing sociology class and psychology class at all times.
Period.
Yeah, literally.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
There's so much that can be said about it. So we've chatted about beliefs. We've chatted about experiences we've had. What are your favorite tools to rewire your beliefs? I know, like, I mentioned some just as a name drop earlier, but I didn't really dig.
One of my favorite that I do even in everyday situations when most people don't actually know that I'm doing it is box breathing.
Love a box breathing.
I do it all the time. Like,
yeah.
Almost all the time. Multiple times a day, because it stops my brain for a second and I literally count. Like, when I can't sleep at night, I don't count sheep. LOL. But
that doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work. I will either box breathe or I literally will draw the cursive alphabet in my mind until I literally fall asleep.
I love that.
Because that literally helps me focus on something so much. Yeah. And I'm not thinking about my to-do list, but I will picture A, B. Like,
I love that.
Over and over again. And usually it takes 2 or 3 rounds and then I'm zonked out, but I have to shut my brain off. And that's just something that I do very often. But box breathing in most scenarios, because I'm also a very passionate person. Yeah. So I'm very much, oh my God, did they hate me? Or, oh my God, that was amazing. And I still need to like calm down. 6 more hours of work today. Let's chill for a sec. So that's one thing that I absolutely love. And I think positively or negatively, box breathing is so awesome.
I love that.
Yeah. And like, I've been to breathing classes and I think that's really cool because they'll take box breathing as just one modality. I thought that was it.
No, breathwork is incredible.
Yeah. So I thought that was it. And then I started going to classes and watching YouTube videos and breathing in all these different ways. And you'll come out almost like euphoric.
The closest you're going to get to feeling like you've done like a hallucinogen.
Literally.
Which I've never done a hallucinogen, so I actually know.
So I
don't know what that feels like.
We don't actually have this knowledge.
But I've heard.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think what's crazy is like we breathe all the time. And that's usually what people say to me. Like, what do you mean I breathe all the time? I'm like, yeah, but when it's intentional breathing and you put more breath into your oxygen, or you put more breath into your brain.
Oxygen into your brain? And also, I hold my breath a lot, actually. It's like something I do if I'm stressed, and I will notice it. And I have to think about it, and I will box breathe to counteract sometimes. I think some people have the stress response. I know I do, and I know I'm not alone. If I'm like really thinking hard about something and feeling stressed, I will notice myself hold my breath And then I have this moment of, you'll hear me do it sometimes.
Yeah.
That is what it is. I'm holding my breath.
I didn't know that.
It's completely subconscious.
Interesting.
I should look into the limiting belief
It's
behind
part
that.
of the 95%.
Yeah, but no, it's a stress response. And so breath work is really incredible because, yes, we're always breathing, but I hold my breath. So sometimes that's actually not true.
That's interesting. Honestly, it's probably almost like you're literally waiting for an answer or you're waiting for something. And so you literally...
It's like a saying, but also an action.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Okay.
Yeah. Breath work, incredible.
Literally
Box breathing, incredible.
Incredible.
For me, you will be not surprised, visualizing.
Yes.
Yeah. I love visualization.
Yeah.
It's the best. So visualization, for anyone who has never done it, it is a form of meditation, but it is more geared towards visualizing your dream reality. Because here's the thing. Our brains are really comfortable exactly where they are. The function of our brain and our fight or flight response is to keep us safe. That is our nature. And that's incredible. That is why if you see a lion running after you, you will automatically have the reaction of running away. So we love that. We love that journey for us. We don't want that to change. However, it can also become a hindrance when you might be in a situation that you don't consciously love that much. You're like, I don't actually like my life right now, but your brain's like, we're comfy here. Like, even if you're not happy, I know you survived here. You are alive. You are breathing. You are still physically here. You're fine. Your brain's job is to keep you safe. So it's going to keep you in that situation because it's your subconscious influences, again, your beliefs, your actions, all the things. So for me, visualization, the beautiful part about it is you're creating these movies in your mind, and you can do a guided visualization with words, without words. You could sit there in silence and literally just make a movie in your mind, what you want. And the more often you visit those visualizations with yourself for what you want your future to look like, how you want today to go, visualization doesn't always have to be future pacing like a year from now, 5 years from now. It could be today. I will often visualize my day in the morning for 5 minutes. This is how the day is going to go. And it is incredible because what's happening there is our brains don't know the difference between what is imagined and what is real, which is incredible. And my proof for you on that is, have you ever had the experience where like you had a argument with a boss or a partner, whoever, a friend, and the next day, whole 24 hours has passed, you're sitting at a red light and you are just running in your head of all the different responses that you wish you would have come back with. And I wish I'd have said this, I'd put them in their place. Yeah. And then you notice like your blood pressure starts rising, and like you get a little heated again, maybe a little short of breath. And you're just sitting at that red light and you're fighting with yourself in your head. You're just reliving it. Your brain, the reason you're having the physical response of like maybe your heart racing faster or your blood pressure rising is because your brain thinks it's happening again.
Oh gosh.
And why put yourself through it twice? It sucked once. But we can also use that to our benefit. But when you're visualizing the way you want your day to go, your life, your future, your brain thinks it's real. And slowly but surely over time, the more you revisit that visualization, the more familiar and comfortable it gets, to where when you start to create those realities or there are opportunities come your way that will help you get to said reality, your brain is not going to go, oh no, hell no, that's unsafe. That's new territory. We've never done it. Your brain is going to be more familiar and comfortable with it. Therefore, it's more likely to happen. Because again,
I love that.
Your brain just wants to keep you safe. So if you can make the thing you desire feel safe to your survival instincts, that is how you can help to create. And then also take action, do all the things. But the other piece of that is we all have something in our brains called our reticular activating system. So I can go on a soapbox about these. They're fascinating. And your reticular activating system, also known as RAS, is literally a filter in our brain. Because think about it. There are millions of pieces of stimuli coming at us at all times and throughout the day, to where we can't actually process all of it. There are cars passing outside of the window right now, but I had to think to hear it. Like, there's all kinds of different stimuli, from sounds, sights, smells, all of it. Everything's coming at you at once. And your brain helps you because consciously you can't process all of it at once. So your brain will distort, delete, or generalize the things that it deems unnecessary for you to know. And what's interesting about that is if you have something that you're really working towards and you really want, opportunities are always all around you.
Yes.
But you can't see them all if your brain is looking at it as something that it wants to delete, distort, or generalize, because it's not understanding it as something that's important to you right now. So when you visualize and you start making those things you desire important to you, your brain will stop deleting, distorting, or generalizing the things that may be coming into your life, your opportunities, signs, whatever it might be. It's going to notice this as something important and that you need to actually process, and it will literally allow you to do that, which again, will change your life. And it's just really fascinating to think about and to have a tangible example for someone who still is maybe a little stuck on what the RAS is, because you could really understand your reticular activating system. You can change your life. It's just one piece of it, but it's an awareness thing. The same red light that a driver will notice while driving down the street, the driver is going to notice a red light. They're going to notice every stop sign. They're going to notice pedestrians crossing the street. If you were honestly even on that same street, walking on the sidewalk diagonally with or like parallel with traffic, you're not going to notice the red light because it's irrelevant to you. You're not going to notice the slow down pedestrian walk sign that's on the other side of the street from you because you're not crossing that way. So therefore you don't need to notice. Your brain is still technically seeing it. It's just deleting it because it's not relevant. I'm walking. So use it to your benefit.
Yeah, I was going to say that must be how they say like red sports cars get pulled over more than any other car. It's because your brain filters red, and all of a sudden, even as a police officer, people get pulled over more in red vehicles. It's not just because of that. It's because they just see them so often. Doesn't mean they're not seeing black ones or blue ones or silver ones.
And like you can even say like on that, there like the second something becomes a belief that's more widely known, people just believe it. So yes, that saying red sports cars get pulled over more. The more we say that and the more we make it fact, the more people are going to just generalize that as a fact. And so then they will naturally process that information and see the red more. It's fascinating.
Absolutely.
All of that to be said, though, visualization can help you influence your RAS. Always circling back. Visualization can help you influence your RAS. It can help you put those things that you want in your life in your awareness versus in your blinders. And I just think that it's incredible and fun.
Send us any questions you have about that, too.
Yeah.
Obviously, Brooke can talk about it for hours, and I love listening to her talk about it for hours, so welcome.
Welcome. We can maybe do a whole episode one day on visualizing, but we do also, if you ever want a visualization, I'm happy to make one for you.
To wrap up, just remember that your beliefs will always come back, regardless if they are positive or negative ones.
Yep.
They're going to come back. So keep the positive ones as close as you can, but the negative ones are going to be there, and they're there to keep you safe. They're there to help you through something. So thank them and really have that self-awareness to really move through them yourself.
Yeah.
Because they're going to keep coming up at every single level that you climb in life.
Yeah, and if you don't believe that you can't overcome them, then you won't.
Because
literally, that's it. If you believe you can do something, you will be able to do it. Will it be maybe in the exact way that you saw in your mind's eye? Maybe not. But you will find your way to the result that is meant for you. But if you don't believe, you will not be able to.
In every aspect.
Like, period. Every aspect in life. And that is true in business. That is true in personal life. That is true in hobbies.
In bouldering.
Literally, I was thinking about that. There's a climb that I'm trying to do right now in bouldering. And to full circle it back to my definition of success change with the mindset shift that I've had, like the last hold that I can't get right now, it's because every time I get up there in my head, I'm like, my mind is going, no, you can't let go, you can't let go, you can't let go. And guess what? I don't let go, and I don't do it. I jump down every time. I fail. And it's all my mind, because Kelly and Alec, my husband, were on the ground behind watching, and they were like, you were literally right there. You just had to like a foot over. Yep. But when I was up there, my mind was just like, no, you're gonna fall. This is too high. You can't do it. I believed I couldn't do it, and guess what? I couldn't do it.
Yeah. So what are things like, what's a limiting belief that you can really think about?
Yeah.
That you can move through? Or maybe it's one like me that like you were very aware that it came from when you were little. That's really affected you. But how are you kicking butt in that? Because maybe you have a limiting belief that actually is a gift.
Yeah.
To move you into something greater than you could even ever imagine. And that's special.
Yeah.
So it's almost like thanking the limiting belief for being there, because it was keeping you small, it was keeping you safe. But how can you use it?
But let's move beyond it. Yeah. And for anyone who is listening and audibly seeing us, that question is literally to you.
To you. It's to you.
It's to you. Yeah. So comment, let us know what limiting belief you're working through right now. We would love to help you with it. And please leave us a review. It helps us more than
yes.
Thank you for listening today.
We appreciate you. And know that limiting beliefs, you can move past them because you are amazing.
Okay, love you.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. We have new episodes coming out every Thursday, so we will catch you in one of the next ones.
And please take some time, follow us on @FindYourFuze or email us at info@findyourfuse.com for all inquiries and all exciting things that you want to chat with us about. We love building this community and we love you. Take some time and leave a review. Anything above 5 stars, we'd love it. But really, we appreciate you and we appreciate your feedback in any form, because the more feedback we can get, the better we'll get. Okay, love you. Bye.